Very good. Aha, very good. Well, welcome and thank you so much for coming. I'm hoping as we go on, we will get more people here, but I'm going to share my screen just to follow along in a way that you'll all be able to see exactly what we're doing. This is, again, retired next phase. And in my mind, it's the best phase. All the pressure is off. The kids are grown and gone. It's just, we have now time for ourselves. Now, I was going to say the question was to put in the chat how many years you've been retired, but I won't because only Harvey, and Harvey's probably been retired about the same time I have.
I'm supposed to be retired, but I'm putting in more hours now than I had a regular job.
I find that too, for sure. Oh, we have with us Ron and Brad now. There's Ron. And there's Brad. We'll just wait till they get their pictures up and then we'll. Caitlin, we have a Friday group that meets, and these are my tried and true from our Friday chats. In fact, started by Brad. He was the initiator. My friend Ron. He's the philosopher of the group. So Ron and Brad, we're just starting now, retired next phase. And as again, in my mind, the best phase yet. And normally I would ask if we had a larger group, how many years you've been retired. When I was working at the Red Cross years ago, the refrain from Peggy Lee, do you remember the song, Is That All There Is? Is that all there is? Is that all there is, my friend? And for some people, when they retire, they so look forward to it. Then it's like, and now what do I do? So that's what this program is about. For the past 14 years, my friend and I have interviewed retirees, just asking them for advice. What would you tell other people? What advice do you have for people about to retire? And there are certain things that came up repeatedly. So that's basically what this is about, the things that we learned from them. I will ask you a question to put in the chat. Did you have a definite plan? This is just a yes or no when you retired. But you know what, from here, I can't see I can't see the chat. Yeah. Okay. I wish to be retired. Yes. To find a passion. Very good. Ron, what about you?
No.
Okay. Harvey?
Yes, I wanted to stay involved in the industry that I had been working in, which was a combination of tourism, travel, and hospitality, including events.
Okay,
so
good.
I started doing, I became a licensed New York City tour guide and giving tours in New York City. And then I found out there was an association, and I joined the association. And the association was having a lot of problems. Unlike our present associations, we had no paid staff. And we were meeting at the Hotel Edison in New York, and which is was a very crowded situation. And the hotel was sold, and the new management said they were going to turn the room we were using into a storage room for guest luggage and a little bit of a gymnasium, a workout room. So we had to find new places to meet, and that was part of the background I had as a meeting planner. So I took it upon myself to look for places to meet, and was staying busy, and I was spending so much time doing that that's what I ended up doing for the association. I've been with them since, I guess, 2005.
That's great.
They just honored me with an award this year for all the work that I've been doing for them, because we have no paid staff. But I was using my background and what I had in the industry, with contacting hotels and restaurants, and that turned into almost a full-time job.
That's Caitlin and Jamie, you'll be able to relate to this, because what you do now, and then when you retire, it could be totally different, but still drawing on things that you've done in the past. Well, that's interesting. But the Peggy Lee song stayed in my mind. Is that all there is? And I found the Dickens quote, except I rewrote it a little bit. retirement can be the best of times, the worst of times, the age of wisdom, foolishness, belief, incredulity. It was the season of light, of hope, the next best days. Slightly reworded, but I thought about that when I was putting the slides together. It can be a difficult time. For some people, when they retire, it's like travel. And a few of the people we interviewed said after the first year, it was like, I want my own bed. Traveling. Some people have it in their blood and they love it. One interesting man drove the Amish because the horse and buggies could only go so far. So they had to go to Ohio. This man was the driver of the Amish, and he would stay in a hotel for 3 days. He loved it. So there are different things that you just don't, some is very accidental.
Right.
But from all the interviews we did for 14 years, we came up with 3 basic ingredients of what's a successful retirement. What are the ingredients? And the first one we found is purpose, having something to do. Without purpose, it's depression can set in very rapidly. And I think with COVID has shown that with the people being locked up for a couple of years, not having a purpose, something to be doing. I liked the lockdown because I just wrote more and I enjoyed that. But if you don't have something that you're working on actively, they said the 2 most vulnerable times in a person's life is the year they were born and the year that they retire, because that is a pivotal point and it could go either way. Plus, without purpose, divorces increase amongst the retirees, doubled since 1990. Did you know that? That was a fact that I just ran into. And people, the community are the greatest source of meaning. Now, people, it could be that your neighbors, it could be people that you worked with or alumni, it could be any number of groups. It could be people you never ever meet in person. For example, for a year, every day, from morning until 5 o'clock, I worked with 2 men, one from Vermont, one from Canada. We did Pomodoros. You know what a Pomodoro is? It's you set a certain amount of time. It's usually 25 minutes. We did 40 minutes. So we would meet in the morning and we'd say, this is what I'm going to do for the next 40 minutes. Then the Zoom was turned off, except we could hear the buzzer. We would work for 40 minutes, at the end of which we would tell each other what we did. And it was like, we got so much accomplished. I got books written. One fellow has a whole thing on video, how to do videos. And the other one is a tax expert. I'll never meet either of these men, and I feel like they're 2 of my best friends. They're the one I talk to almost not talk to, but communicate with every day, the one from Canada. So that's it, but it's people. You need people in your life. And the next is abilities. What can you do? And this is what I'm going to talk about specifically in this program. Do you know, can each of you say, what is your purpose? Do you know what it is? If you do, just put it in 1 or 2 words in the chat box. What is your purpose? Let me see. Tell our children, okay. To tell our children to find what they love and make that their career. This is our second chance to do that, to help others, to remodel medical education. Great, support through hope, to help others find their passion. There's, is there any here? Okay, very good. Now with the people, you probably, because this is a younger group, you probably have your people in place. You probably know who you can rely on. 3 of us, Jean and Caitlin and I are in a group of, how many women would you say are there? 100 and 400?
400 originally in the group. Yeah.
Yes. So, and we meet like 3 times a week. We all have individual projects. We have these breakdown groups, and it makes a big difference. It's can relate. Could I ask you all to put it on mute? Because I can hear a little background noise there. So you know who your people are and the possibilities. Again, that's what we're going to be talking about more today. And why am I doing this? And what gives me the right to do this? Who am I? I chose this picture in particular, not because she looks like me. I could be that young again, but the paper's next to her. I started out as a high school English teacher. And after 4 years, I was single and grading papers every night, every holiday, every weekend. So I left there, went with IBM as an instructor, trainer, or as a trainer and writer, which was great because at 5 o'clock it was over. I didn't have papers every night, every weekend. I earned double the salary. Loved the job. Then after the kids, when they were a little bit older, I worked for the Red Cross. That was a turning point. Red Cross is a wonderful organization, but for me, it was death, dying, fires, homelessness, AIDS had just come into being or was being recognized. And I couldn't sleep at night because of it. I couldn't put it out of my mind. The gal who replaced me could cut it off at 5:30, and she was perfect for the job. And again, I have to say, it's a wonderful organization, but I couldn't handle it. That's what made me start looking for, well, what's my purpose? You know, is that all there is? And I read everything I could find until I developed a course on Discover Your Passion. And I taught it at our local adult school for 19 semesters. It was fun. Finally, somebody said, why don't you write a book? Oh, never thought about that. That's how I wrote the first book. Then I worked with Dale Carnegie, and I was an instructor for them and trained their instructors. Another time when things just really changed for me, because you really get into human relation principles and kindness and working with others. Then the last one, when I retired, I took early retirement, got bored quickly, and responded to an ad in the paper for an English teacher of high school dropouts. The roughest, toughest kids I ever met in my life. The first night they told me how fast they could get my car to a chop shop. I didn't even know what a chop shop was. On the way out that night, I saw one of the kids and he saw me and he said, "Hey guys, watch your effing language. It's my effing English teacher." And I know he meant well. And I just smiled and got in my car. I learned more from those kids than anything. And that was kind of a pivot for me, in that when I retired, totally retired, that became my passion, is to find ways to keep these kids in school, to find ways to validate these kids, to have them find acceptance. Those kids had stories. I mean, they had stories. One came up to me in the middle of the class that I really became fond of. He was about 6'8", big guy, and he patted me on the head. And I was startled. And he whispered, "Miss, your hair was sticking up." So, "Oh, thank you." But he was the one who'd been warned with such a problem, but it was show respect, you get respect. So that's what made me into a writer. I've written a lot of books, and I'm not a talent. I'm not being falsely modest. I write because that's the way I think. And there's somebody else in this call who should be writing what he thinks, because he's a philosopher and he's got the thoughts. When you get it on paper, then it kind of makes sense. When you start taking notes of things that really bother you, then you want to make a difference in somebody else's life, and you do that through the writing. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Part of why I'm doing this is because of our Friday meetings. We have a group that meets on Fridays, chats. None of us know one another. Before we started, different backgrounds, different jobs, and we have formed such a bond. We have no topic. What we do is we meet and we might discuss computer problems or minor things going on, or politics, or last time was comedians. We laugh every week, in spite of So the seriousness, we also laugh. So that thought, why not bring more senior citizens together, but also with maybe a more definite purpose? Because again, is that all there is? That's the depression can set in if you don't feel as if you know where you're going or what you're doing. So in the chat, just put a second, what do you most enjoy about retirement? I found this sheet that says how many retirement, how many days in a week? 6 Saturdays and 1 Sunday. What's a retiree's bedtime? 3 hours after he falls asleep on the couch. What's the biggest gripe of retirees? There's not enough time to get things done. There's just one funny thing. What do you call a long lunch? Normal. So we can joke about it, but what do you most enjoy? You see what responses I have. Laughing, yes. Make your ideas come to life. Laughing, great there. Choosing what I want to do and when I want to do it. Freedom to do whatever you want to do when you want to. Retirement is doing what you love to do. And I so agree. And it's getting other people to recognize that. Now I lost my slot here. There we go. Ikigawa is one thing. This group that we're in, the leader, the owner, uses this Ikigawa, and it basically means fulfilling life. That is the solution. We want to live a fulfilled life. We want to be able to do what we want to do, because all of our lives we've had to do things. Some things we might have loved doing, but we still had to do them. Now, if we have the option, we don't have to. We do what we want to do. So what's your purpose? And to find your purpose, it's the purpose is the reason you journey. It's the fire that lights the way. But now specifically, this is more about it. Your story. What is your story? We look at the people that you associate with. We look at the places. For example, I love the smell of schools. Now, some people say, oh, but I love it. My daughter loves the smell of pools. She was a swimmer. I hate the smell of pools. I love the feeling going into a beautiful hotel, because Dale Carnegie classes were held in the lobby. And I always felt so elegant going into the hotel. So what places do you like? We talk about values. There's internal and external values. If you have all your values on top of the water and they're all sinking, which one would you save? What is most important? Honesty, integrity, morality. But then there's other values, just kindness. Kindness is probably the top value. And as Ron works with cake, compassion, acceptance, kindness, and empathy. They're the strong values. What interests you have? What activities? We take an entire year to go through this. This is a community group. It's for a meeting once a week, and one session a week is just on your story. If you change your story, you can change your life. Now, what happened, but the view that you take from what happened could make a big difference in how you view your past. What are your interests? What are your activities, your memories? Causes. What causes would you march for? And I have a whole list of things that I would march for. But what's the one, if you're only going to march for one? And if anything has to do with acceptance and validation, that's what I'd walk. Every human being, acceptance and validation. If you could think of a cause, what's one cause? Just put it in the chat. What's the one cause you would definitely march for? Okay. Acceptance, so true. Anything else that you would march for, you feel so strongly about? You could, on the list are things, of course, there's child abuse, there's elder abuse, there's the political situation, there's compassion is something everybody wants. Yes, Thank you, Catherine. The increase the value of African-American boys and young men. Absolutely. Improvement to make things better. Equality. Equality probably is the one that's, again, to me, most important in that it implies acceptance and validation. You don't have to like everybody, but you have to regard them as an equal. Causes, skills, pleasures, and happiness. We work on what your interests are, but also how to internalize it. Your thoughts become things. Thoughts are so important. Sometimes you just have to train yourself to think differently. So it does affect your attitude. Beliefs. Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. There's no wrongness in that. There's relaxation and meditation. With this Tony Robbins 4-day thing, the big thing for him was the meditation and exercise. And of course, that's I'm totally deficient in, but making yourself move as much as you can, but calming your mind as much as you can. Knowledge and passion. So that's what we cover that's what we will be covering for just that one part. So now we get down to people. A bad thing when I left, and it was every morning there was just the animals and me. So I started going to the Bagel Chateau, to the diner, to Barnes and Noble on Saturdays. It's bad, but just for my dose of humanity. Didn't sit with anybody, didn't go with anybody, but it's just the ambiance. You need the people in your life in some way. Now, it could be, if you're looking at possibilities of things that you could even be doing, start your own business. You could do baking. If there's anything that you'd love to be doing that you're not, just put it in the chat and see if we have any of the same ideas. What are some things that you could be doing that you're just not doing? Okay, still have improvement to make things better. Anything else? What would you like to be doing? Would you ever like to have a bakery? Trying to find is that I try to do everything that occurs to me. Yes, yeah. But you know what, with that too, but there's something that's giving you a satisfaction in that, and it's trying to find that nugget that's pertains to almost everything. Be more computer literate. Yes, I'm in that area. Spending more time with my family. Join hiking groups or bicycle groups for exercise. Great. Just whatever you can be doing that gives you the satisfaction that basically is what we want to be doing. Hopefully we'll be able to be doing. And again, I lost my place in the slides here. Okay, purpose, we did that. Okay, now with this, going back to the people thing, someone who's had a tremendous influence on me is Denzel Washington. I read his book, A Hand to Guide Me. He interviewed 60 people, among them Hank Aaron's, Muhammad Ali, Debbie Allen, Jimmy Carter, General Wesley Clark, Bill Clinton, Dominique Dawes, remember the gymnast, Yogi Berra, Jamie Farr, Danny Glover, Whoopi Goldberg, Ruben Studdard, Alex Rodriguez, Phil Jackson, Tara Lipinski, George Steinbrenner, Gloria Steinem, Bob Woodard. They're just amongst the 60 people that he interviewed. And the commonality was people, having somebody in their court, having some sort of community. For example, he was raised, I wrote it down, in New York City, but it was a tough area. And where was it? Oh, Mount Vernon, New York. His father was an itinerant preacher, So he was gone. He was on the road most of the time. His mother was a hairdresser and she was busy. So he had time after school. And the time was very, what was very attractive were the gangs, because gangs welcome you. They make you feel really special. They have it down pat. You just have to maybe do a few robberies and murder somebody to get in. But that after reading his biographies and reading all of those people, those really famous people, all had a mentor, all had somebody to guide them. And that's people. You have somebody that believes in you. I can say my Aunt Nancy. She wasn't really my aunt, but she was close to the family. She worked with me with shorthand in high school. But it was more than working with me. It was, she believed in me. So if you look at who was the person who believed in you, when we're looking at with Denzel, it's actually a mentoring program. So I put together a mentoring program and worked in some pretty tough areas where there were drive-by shootings, there was a murder, and I stopped doing it after the murder in the park behind the school. It was scary, but I worked in Plainfield. I worked in, if you're from New Jersey, these are some pretty tough areas. The Abraham Clark High School, Linden High School, and even in our town, Westfield High School, just to have the juniors trained to work with the incoming freshmen. And I did it for the freshmen. What turned out was it was the juniors who wrote their evaluations. No one ever looked up to me before. No one ever made me feel important. So that was the biggest motivation to get this out to more and more schools, just to impact those kids. And this is available through this program that you can be doing, that you can be volunteering in your schools or working. You can also ask for a stipend. I had a philanthropist, Jerry Glasser, who gave money to the United Fund earmarked for the programs that I did in the schools. So it was an opportunity to get out there, make a little bit of a difference, and know that something's happening as a result of something good that I'm doing. With community again, together, community again could be your neighbors, it could be anybody that you're interacting with. People are so important, and they're so easily put aside because we don't have the time. Now the possibilities is basically doing what you love, and I've had a chance to do that, so that's why I'd love to share it with other people. What are the possibilities? Again, own business, could be, you could become a friend of mine is a pet walker. One lady I worked with was a quilter. She was an excellent quilter, but she was a little bit bored with it. And she's also interested in genealogy. So what she did was combine the two and did people's genealogy, that they did the pattern, and then they quilted the pattern. She taught people how to quilt the pattern. There's so many ideas of things that can be done. And it's just finding out what rings true. It's the thing that what makes you feel good. At this point, we don't have to worry so much about a corporate job or doing something that we don't want to be doing. It's what makes you feel good, because that's what you're going to be best at. So the choices are corporate or volunteer, corporate or volunteer. The retirement, these are the programs that are available, and you could do it for income or you could do it as a volunteer. If you want to be a coach or teach, there's kids. I have a book that Raise Confident Kids, which uses a framework to raise kids, and it's easy to learn. And it's, even though kids are different from when my kids were little, and kids are different from when I was little, but there's still the elements of the bubble that you step into as a parent is acceptance and borders. Yeah, you don't give them unlimited freedom. It is acceptance and I'm forgetting the word. It's not borders. Acceptance and but you're putting limitations on what they do. And then I use two acronyms. That is the philosophy, and the rest is how to do it. For example, CLAP, C-L-A-P, communication skills, listening skills, attitude training, and people skills. They all apply. The world's changed drastically, but what hasn't changed is human nature. We still all want to be accepted. We still want to have someone look at us, recognize us,
Wait a minute.
validate us in some way.
Not the vote when I was at that meeting.
And so it could be moms that you want to work with, or teens. The 3 programs I have for teens, I really like. And again, that can be as a volunteer in your community, or it could be something that you ask money for. An SAT program might cost $400 or $500. If you get 10 kids in one of these classes and charge $400 or $500, that's thousands of dollars that you're earning right there. Or you could do it as a volunteer. The one class is speaking skills for teens. And it's the idea came when I read a story about Mark Eklund, a Vietnam veteran or Vietnam soldier who was killed. And his 7th grade teacher got a call from his parents saying, please come to his funeral. And she didn't know why. He went to the funeral, and afterwards the father took her aside and said, I want to show you what I found when his personal effects were returned. And in his wallet was this yellowed, dog-eared, creased paper that she had them do in 7th grade. She was teaching a math concept that they weren't getting. So she said, put your books aside, take out a piece of paper and write down the name of every student in this class. And when they had done that, she said, now write something that's special about that person. Didn't matter if you like them or not, but what is special about that person? And he kept that paper all of these years. At the funeral, a couple of his friends said, I have mine in my wedding album. I have mine in my jewelry box. I keep mine in my back pocket. It's that important. So in the speaking course, the students, if there's 20 students, there's 20 sheets of paper with the name of everybody on it. After they've spoken, they have to write a positive, either about the talk, the delivery, or the impact on the audience. At the end of the class, at the end of the 14 weeks or 14 sessions, they get all of these positive comments. They get every one of them. To this day, 20 years later, I still get emails from kids who said what an effect that had on them. They learn speaking skills. After they speak, I write one comment, area of improvement, but never do I say anything negative in front of the class. So they know they clap when they go up, they clap when they go back, sit down or finish their talk. But the impact it has on their psyche is that they're getting total acceptance from their peers. So that's one of my favorites. Also retirees, there's a whole program for retirees. It could be legacy workshops. For 6 years, I went to Schaefer Gardens in Union, senior citizen residence. It was just 1 hour a week, and it's called a legacy program. It was journaling, but I found the ladies weren't writing. I found out they had arthritis, or they couldn't see well, or they're afraid their English wasn't good enough. So we talked stories, and it could be, what kind of shoes did you wear in 4th grade? That one prompt would start a story. What is your most memorable event? What is your first kiss? And these ladies, and they were in their 80s and 90s, they got them telling stories. And it's amazing how they changed as a result of telling their stories. Again, they're accepted by their peers. I've also done as a volunteer in some of the groups. I have train your brain, fun activities to keep their brain sharp, retire to your passion, speak well, doing autobiographies. Done a lot of autobiographies, but I don't write them. I give them maybe 6 sheets of all the questions that could be asked, and they put a circle in the ones they want to ask. That some people don't want to talk about certain areas of their life, but anybody can do this. You just get people talking, you record. It's 2 hours, and then rev The app Rev transcribes it. There are still words that are not, that won't come out right, but you just make the corrections, give it to them, then they can massage it. They can turn it around. They can add things. They have a biography. And it's a very easy thing to do, and it's very satisfying. I was during one of the sessions there, I said, I won't be here next week because I'm doing a Bully Be Gone program in a nearby school. And one of the ladies said, have you ever done anything on senior bullying? And I never thought about that. But you know, bullies grow up. And where do they go? Some of them outlive it. I mean, they just outgrow it, but some of them don't. Some of them continue to be bullies. And in this one home, there was a new lady in place, and she was a bully. Maybe you want to do a craft. I have a later slide with the oldest gentleman that I interviewed was 96, and he was the birdhouse king, which I'll show you his slide there. So maybe you have a craft. One of the men we interviewed was in his late 50s. He was a bank president and was fired. He lost his job because there was a buyout. So he automatically went with the buyout. And so what was he going to do? Start out as a teller? He couldn't get a job at his level. So what he did, the one thing he always enjoyed was crafting. So he started making furniture. He's in demand in our area for high-end furniture, and he works on it when he wants to work on it. That's perfect. Could be writing you're interested in. I think everybody has a little inkling that they want to write, and you should. Now, this is my birdhouse king, 96 years old. These are his birdhouses. One is in Kennebunkport with the former or the late President Bush. This man was a delight. He was a flirt. I absolutely fell in love with him. He worked at his workshop every day. He did what he wanted to do. He had a birthday, his 95th birthday, and 20 people were invited. 70 showed up. But I don't think 70 would show up to my birthday. So this is, and to give you an inkling of what you might want to do, this is, if you have a blank piece of paper, you do fold it in half. Took me 2 weeks to complete this, and actually it's never completed. Then you fold it in half again. Now you've got 4 columns. Now in the first column, write the word skills. In the second column, write knowledge. In the third, experience. And the fourth, gifts or talents. Now, the first one is very easy. Every skill that you have, you write. Now, I can cook, so I could put that as a skill. It's definitely not going to be in my talents column. I can sing. I love to sing, but you don't want to be next to me when I'm singing. I can't even call it a skill. I have to say experience. There's anything that you can do, you write down as a skill. You're capable of doing that. Now, what's your knowledge? I have tremendous knowledge I have over 3,000 books on dieting. Obviously, they're all wrong. That's my knowledge. The other areas that are of tremendous interest to you, what's your knowledge? What do you know that most people don't? The third column is experience, things that you've done, things that you've actually accomplished in life, and just anything that you've done. But the last column is the toughest, and especially when working with kids, it's their talents and gifts. That you have to ask somebody else. And when you're talking to somebody, and I think this is pretty universal, when you meet somebody, you can see something special in that person right away. Do you agree? Yeah, they might not know it, they might not feel it, but it's there. It's there. We have a gentleman who's with us, Mike, who you wrote me an email. we only met that one time in a breakout group. I cut out the emails right on my desk because it was so nice of something that you had done. It's like the things that people do for other people. And what he said was very much of a compliment of what transpired in our little breakdown meeting, but I wasn't aware that somebody would say that. So it's nice.
Gail, it was richly deserved.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mike. So so basically you're at a point where as a retiree, no matter how long you've been retired, and I know, Mike, you're not retired yet either, you have an opportunity to choose. So of the three, the people that are the purpose, the people, and the possibilities are just so important to keep in mind as you're going along. What I'm offering is a membership group, and it's $79, but you can be earning $7,000 from some of the courses. And one reason is because I can only go so far or do so many on my own. I feel so strongly about the acceptance and validation of kids and of seniors. People in senior residences, some are really depressed, but if you can work with them and find a way to make them feel special, because everybody is special in some way. It's a private Facebook group. There's a daily motivational email tip that is sent every day. And I put this address up here, tut.com. If you go to tut.com, you can sign up for free. Every morning, it's Mike Dooley. I love this man. He sends out something related to thoughts or things. And I smile. Every morning I get the email. It's maybe one line, maybe 2 lines. It's never anything that will overtax your mind, but it's great. So give it a try. Now, these access to 3 training opportunities that are already done, and I'll go right to that slide and then come back to this. These are the programs: the Raise Confident Kids, Speaking Skills for Teens, Discover Your Passion for Teens, Kids Mentoring Kids. If you like adult programs, Profit from Your Passion, that you can work with others for. A Serenity Spa, which is really relaxation and mind training. Attitude training. I was hired by the Hoboken Police Department to work with their officers who give out tickets, not the regular cops, but and they have uniforms and everything. They went through 4-hour sessions in groups of 6. So there were small groups, and all I worked on was attitude, and that's stimulus, response, but there's a space in there. And that's what I had to work with them on, the space. No one ever thanked them for what they did as they're towing away a car or ticketing the window. Hoboken, for those of you not in this area, is 1 square mile right outside of New York City. It's packed. It is packed. So parking is very difficult. But the attitude training made a difference just because they started looking at the same thing that was happening, but looking at it in a different way. The Secret Shopper. I have one book called The Secret Shopper, and in the back it has instructions on what you could do with your local stores on how to treat their customers. Have you ever gone into a store and someone kind of brushed you off or been a little rude and you don't want to go back? It's a fun thing to do because it's a before and after. You go buy something and then you go back and return it, and you judge them on how they handle the return. One Talk Fits All. It's now called Kindness Talks on Amazon, but it's after giving so many talks to so many groups, mostly Rotary clubs and different organizations around the area, I found out that basically the talks are the same. One day I had a talk for nursery school teachers, and later that day I had one for stockbrokers from the city. Now, it basically was the same because it's based on the kindness. It's based on human interaction. With Dale Carnegie, his first 9 human relation principles: make everybody feel important, show genuine enthusiasm, use a person's name, it's the sweetest sound in the world, listen, talk in terms of their interests. Again, a fun thing to do. Or retiree programs, design your life at any age, legacy workshops. And then this next one, legacy information for personnel. That's the one I did in December for Sunrise, one of the Sunrise organizations. And again, the autobiographies could be long, could be short, but they're people are appreciative. And you could be doing that. It's like having a group of people that can help just get this going. There's weekly Zoom calls. I have a monthly newsletter, as I said, this is the 14th year, retired next phase of retiree interviews. That would continue, but probably not with interviews of outsiders, rather insiders. Includes the pillars for success, visualization and self-care that I can explain. Setting up a success teams. When I was leaving, wanted out of Red Cross, I read something about setting up success teams. So I said to my friend, I want to quit my job, but there are 4 people you need for a success team. She said, oh, I work out with 2 girls. So the 4 of us met for a year, every Monday night for 1 hour. No refreshments, no water. You just came, you met 1 hour. Each of us had 15 minutes and it's structured. So if you, and it can be, well, the one girl wanted to change jobs. She sold blood products to doctors. She wanted to work with jewelry. She ended up in Tiffany's at the end of the year. Another girl came in, she was a nurse. She came home one day and her husband wanted a divorce. She thought she was happily married. We got her through the divorce, the sale of the house, the getting rid of the goods, everything with 1 hour a week, nothing beyond that. The success teams are really powerful. And I got the job with Dale Carnegie only because I was gutsy enough to do it because of this group. I just wasn't brave enough to do it on my own, but with them I did it. Okay, questions for autobiography, yours, your friends, your family, legacy programs I'd mentioned, and plus I have sample letters for contacting senior residences, the pillars for happiness and daily readings. Pillars are having community, having purpose, health, and beliefs are the 4 pillars. And anybody interested in actually training and conferences, I have a book I wrote years ago called Financial Success with Seminars. So that's available to anybody who is in the group. And bonuses, even before the computers came about, I love to read these motivational books. But I still have the write-ups, but some of them are in the typewriter from this electric typewriter. So now I'm trying to scan them, but these I do have on the computer. Do what you love what you do. The Magic of Believing, that's a biggie. Claude Bristol, Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz, Think and Grow Rich. Now, one book that I have that I wrote is called Retired Next Phase, or Enjoy Your Retirement, Next Best Phase. It's just a fun thing. Again, the tips, but it's fun to work with other people with it. The one talk fits all, 1 hour coaching session, and it's free courses, this Serenity Spa. And we're not starting until April 4th. So if anybody is interested, I would love to have you sign on. You can't click here, but Jean, if you would put in the chat room the address or that you could, if you're interested in pursuing this further, you can just click on there and sign up. I'm hoping I'll be doing this a couple more times because I'd love to get people interested in doing what we're doing. But meanwhile, any questions that are coming up as I'm racing through? Anything comes to mind, except you're all on mute. There's Catherine. And there's Harvey, okay.
So for me, Gail, your $79 fee for the month is to get all of that stuff? Or
All of that.
choose one?
Just all of that. And the reason I say all of that is I feel so strongly about getting the message out, just being able to get people to do it. And if you can benefit through charging, great. But if you want to just be a volunteer, that's great also.
Right. And I put those links in the chat just for everybody to see.
Okay. And most of them have books on Amazon, but you don't need to buy the books because the courses are online, one session at a time with all the downloadable PDFs. So again, there's no investment that you have to make to teach it to a class. You can just share the PDFs with them. Everything that you need is already up and online. Any other questions?
Gail, I'm sorry, I came into the class late. Will this recording be available to view later on to get
Yes,
the entire
yes,
picture?
yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great.
Now, Mike, do I have, yes, I have your email from that you sent me, so I can send it to you.
Yes, yes.
And maybe I better quickly, Caitlin, you wouldn't necessarily be needing it. Okay.
Okay. Well, and I had the experience of actually watching you in action as a coach, and I was very impressed with your coaching skills. In fact, what I wrote to you, and I meant it sincerely, is I especially appreciate your words to me coming from you with your very reassuring presence. I feel you came across as a coach, as the most professional coach of anyone that I worked with in these gyms. Calm, articulate, knowledgeable, caring, and curious. Please feel free to keep me posted on your future.
Oh, thank you. That's why I have it right on my desk.
Yeah.
I have a plastic mat on top, so like the cats don't wreck it when they get up there, but it's right there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I modified a couple words here and there, but that was the essence of what I sent you, and I meant it sincerely. Very impressive.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Ron, can we, how's your book coming? I do tend to nag him a little bit. You're on mute though. Okay, there you are.
There we go. No, actually, I was kind of getting excited as I was as you were going forward, because one of the issues for me is I'm on a lot of committees. We work with volunteers, but there's not sometimes a real structure where everybody's got all their oars in the water at the same time. And so I looked at some of these things as being very helpful, maybe in developing teams and team building activity. And once you have a team, a real performing team, then you could expand the types of things that you're trying to do. And I'm looking at Brad, and we're very ambitious about the things that we're trying to do with Lifelong. And I just came across an article. I'll send it to you, Gail, and it's about an outfit, and what they title themselves is that they get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And so they identify things that need to be done in the community, and then they identify the resources in the community, pull those resources together as a team, and get things done, which is what Mr. Shinani does, okay, very well. So I think having some structure maybe and some extra, maybe some coaching and things like that might be very helpful in some of our agendas.
Well, another thing that was a big impetus in me doing this was the meeting, our hate forum. That left such an impression on me with the swastikas and the racial slurs written on the mirrors, the girls' bathrooms. It made me think we've got to get out and get people in coordination, cooperation, again, acceptance and validation are my two buzzwords, because that's what every human being wants, and especially kids. If they're in programs where they recognize other people are great, but you have to give them a chance.
Yeah.
So any other comments? What I'll be doing is I'll send you an email following this, and I'll just keep you up to date as to what we're doing. And if we get people to sign up, then get going so that we can really make a difference in our communities.
Yeah.
That basically is the ultimate. So Brad, if you have any ideas of how we could use this even in town, that would be great. Even as Ron was saying, you set up these success teams, they work. The last one I set up was before the COVID at Barnes and Noble. 3 ladies, didn't know any of them. One wanted to write children's stories. One came from Africa and was a lawyer and a midwife, but she didn't want to go through the training. Her husband's a doctor and moved over here. So she wanted to start a new business. And the other one wanted to make jewelry and sell it online. I mean, diverse. But through working, each one of us were, I was there to finish the Bully Be Gone program. But by having people validate you, work with you, and you have expectations, you do it. How many times do you say you're going to clean out that closet? You don't. Who cares? So it's just helping one another.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? I'm keeping you right on the within the hour.
I'm good.
Just looking forward to the replay. Thank you, Gail.
Oh, thank you very much. And I hope to see you again. I hope that if anyone is interested, please join me.
Will do.
Okay, take care. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Tammy.
Hey guys, I can't really talk. I gotta stay muted. I'm sorry I came late. Will there be a replay?
Yes, I'm going to send out a replay. But Tammy, how would I get it to you?
I'm gonna put my email in the chat, okay?
Okay, let me,
Sorry for the background noise.
I can't even see my,
I've saved it for you.
Okay.
I've saved the chat, so her name is.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Okay,
Tammy.
thanks for coming, Tammy. Well, I wasn't as comfortable as I thought I'd be.
That's okay. You did well. You did well. You ended up doing exactly what I did. I did not try and keep switching to speaker view.
Yes.
It was the box up there. So you were just one of the little squares. And I
Yes.
think somebody made that comment. It's like, if you had gone back and forth, but it's difficult. You got to figure out how to do that.
I didn't think about it to the very end, and all of a sudden I thought, oh, I've got to go full next. But again, it's a learning experience.
It's a learning experience. And the other thing I was thinking and I wondered about is if the co-host could do it for you. I don't know. But if the co-host is navigating your
Oh,
slides,
right.
and so switch it out and go, because we're
Okay.
not trying to pay attention to what you're saying. You're paying attention to what you're saying, and you
Yeah,
have your notes.
I will
But to
Google
say,
that.